Reframe the way you see things, and the things you see will change. Failure is not a failure, it's an opportunity to learn and grow. You only fail if you quit. Period. Let's hop into the video. Years ago, I used to always come across these videos on YouTube and Instagram where a runner is running a race and all of a sudden they trip, they fall, they get a Charlie horse, something that gets them on the ground. And usually that's when the video starts, the clip that we're watching. And this athlete has probably trained for months or years to get in this top spot. We're getting nervous, we're freaking out, we're like, oh my God, he fell, she fell, what's going on? Now, there are two types of runners in this situation. There's the runner who falls down, right? But then they end up getting back up. They may hobble along, they may crawl, they may have somebody come to help support them to get through the end of the race, but they end up finishing that race. Maybe not with the same time that they intended or within the same time that they intended. Maybe not as the way they imagined, right? But they finish that race. And the second type of runner is the one you usually don't see in these clips, and it's the person who ends up getting off the track. They can't complete the race, whether it's a mental thing or it's a physical thing where they literally just can't finish the race. And today I want to talk about that first athlete, that runner who gets back up and continues to run. We right now are on a journey, a run, a marathon called life. And there are times when we are tripped up, where we fall, where we get a cramp, where we feel so down and out, just like failures. Like how could we get to this point? The job I wanted doesn't want me anymore. The person I have been with, thought I was in love with, thought they were in love with me, they walked out on me. That dream that you had, all of a sudden it's not working out. The books aren't selling. The people aren't watching the videos. And you're like, what in the world is going on? I thought I did it all right. And how did I get here? And this is life. This is part of that journey. Sometimes it looks like grief. Sometimes you fall. It's not really failing or falling, but it feels that way because we lost somebody or something and we have to grieve that process, and it takes longer than we anticipated. That happened to me personally. So I could really relate to that one. As we continue on, I just want to share a few things that could help you when you're in this point, how to get back up and go at it again. Sometimes we feel like we failed because we don't see the end game. We don't see the end goal. We tripped up. So we think we failed. And the only way we're really failing is if we quit. If you literally stop going after it, that is failure. It's not failure if you slow down a little bit. It's not failure if you have to crawl through it a little bit. It's not failure if you stop and rest. My lighting is going to be a little bad. I just want to say that real quick because I'm recording this at the wrong time of day, but this is the only time that I could record this. So please bear with me when it comes to the light, or just listen to this versus watching it. But I want you to think about failure like how I have been programmed or taught to think about it. And it's seeing failure as a chance to learn and grow. There are patterns, there are things that we kind of get into that can lead us to falling. And if we could learn how to examine these patterns, these actions we've taken, these habits that we have implemented, and see where we need to tweak them and make them better or more efficient, we can have a more successful journey towards the end game, whether that's to get the new job, the relationship, the business, the YouTube, whatever that thing is, you can go after it with some reflections and tweaking. And that leads me to my first point. When you are feeling like you are failing or like you have already failed, take a moment to see and examine where you are, observe where you are. What got you to this point? What actions have you taken? Were there things that you feel like you could have tweaked? This is asking yourself questions like, what got me to this point? So this could look like journaling. This could be a coach. This could be a therapist. It looks different for every person. This could even be using an AI tool, not to so much as get answers, but maybe it's a tool to be able to ask questions back to you. And be mindful with using that. I'm just saying it's a tool if you need to, if you already use AI, then utilize that is what I'm saying. But I believe the power is when you're journaling, or if you do a coach, or if you do the therapy side. And like I was saying before, like, how did I get to this point? What are some things that I feel like went well, but what are some things that I also feel like didn't go that great, or that I didn't do well? Did I give it all I could? What part did I play in this? Asking yourself questions that get you to reflect and think about how we got to this point. And I understand that in a real race, it's not always that simple. It could really just be that the person their body just had an issue. But a lot of times it's like, excuse me, a lot of times it's things like hydration, or they didn't stretch well enough, or they were so nervous that they were tense. You know, there's those type of factors that come into play. And I'm not saying in every case that it will be that way, but in this game called life, there are so many times, in this race called life, there are so many times that we just needed to examine the patterns to be able to see if we needed to tweak something and pivot so that we can keep on going. Say, for example, you failed a test. Your questions could be something like, did I study enough? Did I actually put in the work? And you need to be really honest with yourself. I may say this a few times, but it's because this is between you and you. This is not you and me, you and someone else. Be honest with yourself. Did I study enough? Did I put in enough effort? Did I work enough to get to this goal? Because sometimes we don't. We didn't. Sometimes we did not sacrifice enough. We did not do the work. We did not put in the effort, but we expected a certain result. So be honest, truthful, upfront with yourself. Be blunt if you have to. Give yourself a little attitude if you need to make sure that you understand, okay, I got myself here. What can I do to get myself out? Or what help can I get to get out of this? In addition to this, asking yourself questions like, why did I start in the first place? Why did I want this? Why? My question is, why is the basis of this? Why did I get here? Why did I start? Not why did I get here? I'm sorry, but that is a good question. But why did I start? Why do I want this? And make sure in this reflection, you're making sure you ask yourself and you're being truthful again, because sometimes the why isn't even our own why. Our dream, why we wanted this goal, wasn't our own intention. It wasn't our own. It was somebody else's dream. It could be a parent. It could be your religion. It could be, there's a whole list of things that it could be. But reflect and find out, is this what you actually want? Because sometimes along the way, we change our minds. We change. This could look like the career change. This could look like opening a business, or you having a business, closing that business to open a new business. This could look like you're about to get married and you realize, I really don't want to be with this person, but you're freaked out because you already spent thousands and thousands of dollars on this wedding and invited the people, and you're like, I should just go through with it. And in my point of view, I think this is the perfect time to make that decision not to, versus going into that. And other people might disagree with me, but I don't. If you need to change your mind, if you feel like you need to change your mind, please change your mind. And this is where that reflection will come in. Asking those questions, we'll see like, oh, okay, maybe I failed just because I failed because I didn't really want this. You know, as simple as that sounds, it could be the case. Other questions you could ask is, what part did I play in this? Did I play a part? Sometimes it is our fault. Sometimes we failed, or I should say, sometimes we feel we failed, and we got ourselves to this point. So what part did I play in getting here? What steps can I take going forward? What actions do I want to take going forward? What habits do I want to implement going forward? These type of questions get you in that flow of, okay, not seeing failure as failure, but seeing failure as a chance to learn and to grow, to break free from the habits and the patterns that have gotten you to this point so far. And just as a reminder, you don't have to do this just once. You could do this on a day-to-day and micro mini things, like have 3 questions. What went well? What didn't go well? What do I want to do differently tomorrow? You could do that daily. You could do that weekly. You could do that monthly, quarterly. And this helps you. This helps you to lean into the failure. If you fall into the failure, you can get yourself back up. This leads into my next point. Please get guidance or help if you need it, assistance. In these videos, these clips, we would see a lot of times that this person running would have other runners, right, running past them. There's the runners who looked at them and just kept on running. They're focused. They're locked in on their end game. Then there's some people who looked at them, they stop. They help, hey, can I help you up? Then there's some people who don't help them up. They're just giving them encouragement. Hey, dude, you got this. They may sacrifice their time because they have to take a few seconds to be able to talk to you, this runner on the ground. And they're like, hey, you got this. You made this commitment. You could finish this race. Push through it. You only have a little bit more time, or you only have a little bit more distance. Then there's the people who literally will help you get up and run with you. And then there's the people who just don't. They don't do any of it. They're just like, I am not paying attention to you. I am focused. I am locked in. My eye is on the prize. And there's no harm in that, because when I'm really focused, I don't pay attention to everything else around me. And so that's what you have to understand, that there's going to be some people in your life that aren't going to be there for you during that process. And sometimes you have to seek out help from other people. Sometimes it has to be the YouTube videos. It has to be, the coaches. It has to be the actual therapists and the books. Sometimes you have to do that work yourself. Sometimes you won't have the accountability partner you want, and you have to work on your own self-accountability. But that either way, the process still ends up being the same. And I encourage trying all of those things and not being so dependent on others to be able to help you through the failure. But I still want you to be open to it because other people can help you. They can help you. Be open to that. Be open to it. And if they can't, utilize tools, whether it's paid or free tools. Like watching this video, this is a free tool to be able to get out of failure and do things for yourself without having to pay for something. My last point is, when you fail, get back up. Don't quit. Because the only way you're failing is if you quit. A true failure is not just because you stopped or you paused or you went backwards a little bit or you had to walk. That's you and you. That's you judging you. But in a true failure is not that. Lean into the failure. Love yourself through the failure, but keep on going. I'll leave below some videos that relate to this. But other than that, that was all I wanted to say. Just as we come into this 2026 year, we're in the first month, first couple of weeks of the year, I wanted to remind you, even if you feel like you've already failed at this point during the year, it's okay. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off again, and go back at it. Get back on the track. The game of life, the race of life, the journey called life, it's really up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to anybody else. We are the only people that can motivate ourselves. Like, I can encourage you, uplift you, give you the tools, but you have to take those tools, that information, and apply it. Otherwise, it won't work. People make it seem like everything's so easy all the time. Sometimes it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it's going to feel hard to get yourself back up again, especially if you don't have the help, if you don't have the support to do it. But I know you can. I know you can. You're resilient. You watched this video till the end. So if you've gotten to this point, I know that you can get yourself back up regardless. So I'm rooting for you. I'm with you. I will see you in the next video with all my love.